Hey, what's going on? I figured I haven't made a deck profile or anything like that on my channel in a long while. So I figured I'd share um, the deck I've been playing the most here lately. It is Mayakashi, um, the Bonetower variant. So I figured I'd share that. When I looked online, the last videos I saw were um, less than a few months ago. And I mean, there was one guy that wasn't even running synchros in his build, so I figured I would show an actually decent build, um, share it with you guys. So, anyways, we'll go ahead and kick it off. Run 3 Hajun, uh, the Winged Mayakashi. When he's normal or special summoned, he summons one Mayakashi monster from his deck, from the deck. Run 3 of these guys. Level 1, I run 2 Daki, the Graceful Mayakashi. I tried running her at 3, but I just kept drawing her too often, and I like to do Hajun more often. But every time you synchro summon, she special summons herself out of the graveyard to allow you to keep going through your plays. I run 3 Yuki Masumi. If she's in your hand or graveyard, she can special summon herself and send one zombie monster from the deck to the grave. I run 3 Mizuki. If he's in the graveyard, he can banish himself and special summon any zombie from the grave. I'm running 1 Gozuki. If you send him to the graveyard, he can special summon any zombie monster from your hand, and he can also, on the field, send 1 zombie monster from deck to grave. I'm running 3 Soul Absorbing Bonetowers. Every time a zombie is special summoned, mill the top 2 cards from your opponent's deck. This is how we win 80% of our games. Next card is Edlich the Golden Lord. 2 cool effects. You can toss a spell or trap out of your hand and target a monster or a spell or trap on your opponent's side of the field, send it. And you can also, if he's in the graveyard, send a spell or trap that's set on your side of the field to special summon him, or sorry, to add him to your hand and then special summon any zombie monster from your hand. It actually comes up because imagine you had Bonetower in your hand and this in your grave. You could send a spell to trade to special summon a Bonetower. It actually is pretty sweet. Actually outs wind stuff, like Winda. I threw it out of Winda today, so it's pretty nice. Nice addition. Jackabolin, he's in here because if you have, 2 Mizukis in your hand or something like that, if you need a small world to get him to pitch some garbage out of your hand. And he also is a body on the field. He's a level 7, so level 7 plus Daki goes straight into Yoko. So you can synchro with these guys as well. So that's it for the monsters. Go ahead and pick these guys up. I was testing Ash Blossom, but I didn't really like her in the deck. Her level's just too weird. It doesn't really work that well for me. For the spells, we are looking at 3 Mayakashi Return. It adds or sends 1 Mayakashi to either adds it to your hand or sends it to the graveyard. That matters a whole lot. If you're under Droll, you can still use Return. It's very, 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 very good. I run 1 Mayakashi Winter. It's super good. 2 things. So if you search this with Return, 2 things. You can send it to the graveyard, so you can use this to send it to the graveyard, and then you can special summon any Mayakashi from your grave. The synchro's included, or you can add it to your hand, and then you can. I'll show you. So imagine you add this to your hand, activate it, and say you have blue in your hand. all that blue requires is that you control a Mayakashi card to special summon and send. So you can special summon and send, Daki to the grave, and if you have anything else to get started, you can start your plays that way. Pretty useful. Oh, and after all that's said and done, you can activate Winter to send blue to the graveyard to draw a card. So just super cool. It come up a lot when people are constantly hand trapping your Hajun, or getting him off the field in one way or another. I had it cut for the longest time because I was like, oh, what point is the attack defense? What does that matter? But ends up using it for the other effects. The attack and defense is just a bonus. A recent ad is Small World. This card is freaking nuts in this deck, and I'll tell you why. All you have to do, you can target any card in your deck, like any of these cards, like any of them at all. So you can do Hajun, and then you always reveal Mizuki or a Bonetower. Like always reveal a Mizuki or Bonetower, and you can search any of these other cards. So say you had two Hajuns in your hand, you would small world reveal Hajun in your hand, and then you would reveal either Mizuki or Soul Absorbing in your deck. If you do Bonetower, you can get Mizuki into your hand. If you do Mizuki, you can get Bonetower into your hand, or you can pick any of these other cards, any of them. It's pretty nuts. Let me put this back. But yeah, because they're all zombie, it's so clean. It's actually a recent ad. I don't know, probably just because I didn't want to read the card, but it's actually so nuts. Performer Popper Up is actually freaking insane in this deck. I mean, yeah, I know it burns you when you use it, but like, imagine a hand where it's like Hajun, blue, Mizuki, and then you had like two other things, or like imagine this was like your opening hand. Like you start off and like you activate this, and then you just like pitch all three of these to the graveyard. Like even if they ash the Popper Up, like you still have FTK with those cards in the grave. It's pretty good. It pretty much gets any junk, and you don't have to pitch three. You can just pitch one, pitch two. But the big thing is just getting Mizukis and blues out of your hand and trading them for cards you actually want. But it's super nice in the deck, super clean, amazing for going first. Reasoning, because I don't run any hand traps other than impermanence, reasoning is always going to hit something. Like even if they call the number right, almost every single one of these cards enjoys being in the graveyard, so it's really no big deal. I mean, maybe not Jack, but I mean, we need to keep Jack in here for other reasons. But yeah, even if they call it right, but I mean, Mizuki, it's no big deal because if you use your Link 3 to link away, because the Link 3 Mayakashi, it's any zombie, so you can if you special summon Mizuki to the field, you can do it that way, or you can go straight into the Synchro 7 with Hajun, Mizuki, and Daki. So you can get him off the board. It's no big deal. So reasoning is super good. Zombie Reborn. This is part of the three card combo to FTK. Anything that reborns from the graveyard, Mizuki, Zombie Reborn, or Monster Reborn, you're gonna need to pull off the Bonetower. But super good. It has a secondary effect where you can shuffle in any banished zombie monster to set it. Pretty clean because you can actually use it on your Link monster, your Link 3, that quick effect Monster Reborn, and put her back, so you can keep recycling her. Pretty sweet. Card destruction. It's pretty good at getting junk out of your hand and into the graveyard. And also it gives you like, I don't know, it puts pressure on your opponent to ash
Like if they really like their hand and they have Ash, this pretty much guarantees that they're either going to Ash this or lose their Ash. So it's pretty good. I like it. Monster Reborn, super clean. It can special summon from you or your opponent's graveyard. So that can definitely come up. But it's super good in this deck as well. All of your synchros do stuff when they come out of the grave. Foolish Burial, your target is going to be blue or Mizuki. 99% of the time, blue or Mizuki. Those are your graveyard best friends. Called by the Grave. You don't like to get hand trapped, so it definitely helps play through those. They ash you, you chain Called by the Grave. Your plays go through. It's good to go. Next card, 1-for-1. 95% of the hands that you draw this card, you are going to FTK. Like 95%, I guarantee it. This card, if this card ever goes above 1, this deck gets even more insane. Like straight up. But yeah, this card says pitch any card from your hand to the grave to special summon a level 1 from your deck. You're almost always going to go into Hajun or Yuki on that effect. You have to run some hand traps to be competitive, so we're doing the 3M perm. Cool thing about it is it doesn't make triple tack live, so they can't rip your hand or whatever. It's still a hand trap, and also if it goes to your turn and you draw it, if you top deck it, it's still useful. And it gets you out of if you play up against a Winda or a Fossil Dyna or something like that, you just drop it, vanities, and it's oh, okay, well I guess I can play. So like I said, I'd like to run Ash, but I'm running Reasoning, and it's just I kept hitting her, and then Ash is just it's so bad on the board in this deck specifically. Last main deck card is going to be Ghost Meat Girl, a Masterful Mayakashi Shiranui Saga. The cool thing about this card is you can target any of your synchro or link monsters, tribute it, and your opponent can't special summon for the turn except from the grave. Super good. I would run more if the way I was building my deck relied on this, but I really rely on the mill. It's incredibly consistent, assuming you don't get hand trapped, and assuming you open up with Popper Up. Generally, hand traps don't matter that much. But this also has a second effect, that you could target one of your banished monsters and put it back into the graveyard. So one cool thing you can do is if you have a Mizuki in the grave and you haven't used your return yet, you can use return, send this to the graveyard, banish it, target your Mizuki, and put it back into the graveyard. I also had an instance today where I sent Mizuki or Gozuki to the graveyard, banished Daki, and then used this to put Daki back into the graveyard, so that I could resolve Gozuki, because Daki was the only target in the graveyard to use my special from hand effect. But that's the main deck. I feel like it. I mean, obviously you would like to run more hand traps, but we're really going for consistency, and we're also aiming to go first most of the time. But it is incredibly consistent to pull out FTKs with this version of the deck. We'll go over the extra deck. Extra deck, we run a set of each of the guys. Yeah, so it is just about as pure as it can get. But when you synchro climb, I do it twice. I can go over. So basically, Daki and Hajun together is going to get you the 3. She comes back, and then you synchro into 5. She comes back, you synchro into 7. She comes back, synchro into 9. She comes back, and you synchro into 11. And then you can start doing link things.
And if you don't know, all of these monsters, when they're summoned, don't do anything, but when they are special summoned from the graveyard, they do things. So when this one's special summoned from the grave, all of your monsters can't be destroyed by battle. When this one is special summoned from the grave, you mill the top 3 cards from you and your opponent's deck. When this one's special summoned from the grave, you can pop non-targeting any spell trap on the field. When this one is special summoned from the grave, you can pop non-targeting 1 monster on the field. And when this one's special summoned from the graveyard, you can make him unaffected by card effects for the rest of the turn. Another thing is when this one is destroyed by battle or card effects, he comes out. When this one is destroyed by battle and card effects, this one comes out, and so forth. So if they keep killing them, they'll all keep coming back until you get to the very end, and then when he special summons, you activate the effect. He can't be destroyed by battle, and then you get to keep him on the field. But they float. With Snake Eye kind of running around right now, it's kind of rough because, well, assuming that you have to actually play and you don't mill them out, because they don't destroy, they just put it in your back row, so it's a little frustrating. But we hope to mill them out. We don't want to actually play the game. That's all the synchros. And to top it off, we run the 2 Yuki-Onna, 2 more Yuki-Onna, and 1 Yuki-Onna. Link 2, Link 3, Link 4. You basically just use this as a bridge. When you have your Gashada Koro guy here and Daki, you go up into her, and then Daki comes back, and then you go up into her, and then Daki comes back, and you go up into her. She doesn't really do anything of note. She's really just a bridge. Now this one is important. When she's in the graveyard, you can quick effect banish herself to special summon any synchro monster, any zombie synchro monster from your grave. So assuming your opponent's going and then they activate a field spell, you can quick effect banish, and then you can target target Tengu, and then pop their field spell. So it's pretty sweet. Oh, and one thing I realized today, I didn't even know this. When you quick effect banish to special summon, it's not only from the grave, it's also from the banish pile. So super sick. Did not realize that. And then Yuki-Onna, she's really sweet. Twice per turn, trigger effect, by the way. So it's twice per turn trigger effect. If a monster is special summoned from the grave or a monster effect is activated in the grave, on a new chain, target a card on your opponent's side of the field that's a monster, set its attack to 0 and negate it permanently. And that's twice per turn. So say they activate like Destiny Hero Malicious, special summon it to their side of the field, you can target Malicious on a new chain and set him to 0 and negate his effects. So that's kind of how that works. But yeah, pretty sweet. Maybe after this I can maybe do some test hands or something and kind of show you how it all works. Oh, and I guess I can share my side deck as well. Let me so for side deck, so it's obviously built for going first. Every single card in the deck is for going first except for maybe Imperm. So side deck is definitely going to be for going second mainly. We're looking at 3 Nib. It's just overall good. You can definitely push through a Nibiru token with this deck. It's rolls over that, so it's no problem. We like the kaijus. We run Jizukiru, Thunder King, Dogaran, Gadarla. Their effects don't matter. You're literally just tributing over their monsters. And to pair with that, we are actually running Slumber. We run 3 copies of Slumber. It is, if you don't know what this is, it's basically a Raigeki, and then you put 2 kaijus on the board. It's just a Raigeki. It's gonna bait out a negate, and if they negate it, eventually you'll be able to banish this from your graveyard to actually just add a kaiju. So pretty good side deck card. It's definitely nice. I mean, when you think about it, if you put all 7 of these in, you're gonna see one of them go in second, 100%. And follow up some more destruction, more Raigeki funsies, Lightning Storm,
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people say the card's not good, but I mean, in this deck, like if they just like set impermanence and you just use Lightning Storm and trade with an impermanence, I mean, sometimes that's enough to get you there. But the good thing is you can like use it on spells or monsters, or spells, traps, or monsters. So definitely a good card. Sucks that it's at 2, but sometimes that's life. So this is all for going second, and I do have 3 Saravis. So if it's game 3 and you're like definitely gonna go first, you would side deck the the 3 imperm. You would take those out and then put the 3 Saravis in so that you can guarantee that your FTK is going to go off. And as far as siding these cards in, generally a lot of decks wouldn't run. So if you're going second, you 100% would want, so just the side decking pattern, like Small World, and Popper Up, and the Mizukis are 100% side deck targets. So if you wanted to fit these 7 in, cut your Popper Ups, cut your Small Worlds, and then cut your Mizukis down. You can obviously cut Card Destruction, and that would probably allow you to fit almost all of this stuff going second. And I think this deck has zero problem OTKing. I mean, like I said, I know I build it for FTKing, but it is absolutely nasty for going second and breaking boards too. I think that pretty much covers everything. I'm going to go ahead and spin up a few test hands in a new video, but this will be the deck profile. Thanks for watching.